ones who would
Yeah,
do
but
that
it's
kind of
not
crazy
text
stuff.
evidence. And it's just, and I walk around and I'm saying, no, this is writing the number of the paragraph. And he was an ISS, so maybe I well. So we're trying to get understanding, and all of us, to understand how to do these data collection forms, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we decided that we would do, if there's two standards on the test, we would do the data collection form for each standard.
Okay.
There's a lot for each class, but it makes
Oh,
better sense.
okay, okay.
And then each class has its own data collection
So,
form.
I need to take notes, so, cause I need to
Yeah.
take the minutes,
Yeah, okay.
so I, okay,
I just had, oh, this computer. So are we doing it by standard? Are we talking about it by standard?
So,
When we do this, let me ask you something. Since we're spiraling standards, should we start with the new standard and then work our way to the old standard when we talk about it? About our
the
data?
data collection,
Mhm.
I guess, only because we want to see if the reteaching and retesting has made a difference.
Mhm. So we're gonna start with the old standard
6.2,
and then make our way to the new standard. Okay. That's not
so we're doing the analysis of, CFA two?
Mhm.
Okay.
Were you able to access the form?
I got a hard copy.
Okay. Could you find it on the?
No. Did you send one to me?
Okay, Mr. Vine.
What's wrong with y'all laughing?
Cause you walked right across our camera. Oh, we're filming.
Oh, I'm sorry. What, you got me on picture?
No, it's
It's
actual
okay, Mr.
videotaping.
Bradley, it's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
And you erased me off.
No, we can't. We
You can't do it?
erase you. We can't erase you, no.
Yeah, you didn't want to say that.
We're not erasing you,
But they
no.
said right there, he said, stop, hope it's born. Stop.
No, you
It's
were,
fine.
you were already gone, it's okay,
It's okay.
it's no big deal.
All right.
So. Let's see. I know I had a copy of it. Didn't we put it in,
In the,
oh, I can't get stuff together. It's in our team drive, right?
is it in our team drive?
I'm wondering.
Let me see.
Remember, Anne had asked us if we wanted to do it electronically or we want to do it in paper. And what did we say?
I think it might be better
We
to do
asked her
it.
for an electronic
Electronic
copy that we
version,
could, we could
uh-huh.
edit.
Right,
And
yes.
she put it up here. PLC data collection form, there it is, but I don't know what it's under. Oh, we were supposed to talk about the norms and everything, oops. I think we're just so used to just jumping right in that we don't
Yes,
even do
we
all
need to, we
that.
need to have an agenda.
But we do know what our norms are, right, ladies, that we,
We participate,
yeah, we do.
we don't get on the phone and.
So I'm gonna make a copy of
Here's
this,
my copy.
A
It's
copy of
under-
the,
of the collection form.
I pulled it up.
It's
This
an
came-
assessment collection form. I didn't even know that was there.
Says sixth grade PLC data form, that's what ours.
It's in your, she sent it to us, so it's in our drive? It's in the shared drive?
I just typed it into my drive and it came up,
What's the name of it?
PLC data
Collection
template.
Mhm. Okay, sixth grade PLC data.
Yes.
And this is CFA, oh gosh,
I have two, so I'm going to.
CFA 2.
Miss Brown, I just find it funny. So we're doing this individual, right?
Yeah, but I found this in a folder that says assessment collection forms. So we put them all in the same folder that everybody sees?
Wait, we're supposed to type our stuff into this?
No, I found this form where it says assessment collection forms. I found it in this folder. And it's a shared folder. So did we put them all in the same?
Did you type your form?
I typed in
The
PLC
information?
data collection form, and that's what it came up in.
Hold on, but did you type the information on the form or did you write it?
I typed it on the form.
Oh. So are we supposed, I don't want to put my stuff up there.
I'm not putting it in there.
That's-
I'm putting it in the team drive. I don't know about this now. But it's got 6th grade template. So
What folder is it in? Data?
assessment collection form.
Assessment.
Collection form, that's
Are we
what
supposed to
the,
put it in there?
Okay. Maybe she just put it in there so we can access it.
maybe we should make,
Make a copy.
make
Yeah, I
our own
made a
folder
And then
and
put
put
it in a
it in
folder.
there.
Well, I put it in there. I don't know, so we need clarification on where we're supposed to put it.
Yeah. Alright, put that in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So do we have a data folder?
So you
in our
need
team drive?
clarification on, data collection form?
Yeah, where does it go? 'Cause we have one on our team drive, but.
So for now, I'm gonna keep it in my drive. See, did I miss that when they said we were supposed to type the information and have it here?
See, I had one that says Brown H data. I had one for myself. I don't know what it is. But anyway, cause this is recording. For confusion is our life. Alright, so RL 6.2, the name of the assessment. Okay, so if we're starting with the previous standard and working our way to the new standard, right?
Okay. What about CFA one? That was solely on 6.5, right?
CFA one was 6.2.
No, 6.2 and 6.1.
One and two.
Yeah.
But we didn't do one for
We
that.
didn't do
because
one.
it's too late.
Okay.
So, and all of us had only one class that did not get to finish at this point, right?
Oh, you have a class that's not finished yet?
Because I have girls who were suspended and the fire drill, the lockdown drill, so I have
Yes.
girls who did not get to finish. So
Yeah.
I did not do that class.
I didn't
did
do
my
that
other-
class
okay.
either.
Alright, so I did my other 2 classes. But looking at it, so if we're looking at just 6.2 for right now, I don't see where it's getting better.
Me neither.
It
As a matter of fact, I'm like, did it get worse?
This data for me, 6.5, 6.8 is worse than the previous,
Yeah, it did.
and I don't know
Actually-
what
And I
happened.
don't know what happened either. I don't know if it was
It
because
actually-
of the day, I don't know what happened, but it got worse.
You know what I found out is that when they started the test on Friday, before if I knew they were going to have a lockdown drill, I would not have started my test. Because you know what, when they did that, when they did the lock, when they came back, because we had to break for, what did they have on Friday again?
Pride Friday, child.
Yes, Pride Friday, so we did,
Mhm.
and you know what, when they got back on Monday, it's as if they didn't even want to do it. Oh, it's the same test, I mean, it was a difference, and because it was a different what I found out was that some of the kids were like, they got an 80,
Mhm.
when they were finished and they got an 80 when they went back, because I had them redo it under that, so I could have a class average.
Mhm.
They get like 66% or something like that, which
Mhm.
wasn't good, which tells me that they weren't thinking about what they were doing.
I really think.
Because if you look at that's my 3rd period, and if you look at my 3rd period data, I have only 4 kids that exceeded the standard. One kid met mastery, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kids were just approaching the standards, and the rest are below.
Mm-hmm.
What
Which
what
is
are y'all
not
saying
good.
is mastery? Are y'all saying 50% is mastery or 60%?
I'm going with this, whatever
With
they have.
80 to 89?
I'm talking about okay, let's start again. So like with question number one, right? Where it says, in what areas did our students do well in this assessment? What was mastered? What are y'all putting there? Are y'all putting the question and the percentage that got it right for that box? What are y'all putting there? 'Cause wanna
I
make sure
put,
we're doing the same
because
thing.
what I did, I looked at the question and I kind of like gave it a topic name. So like, for example, my kids did well on the question that says, how does the section contribute to the theme and the plot? They did well in those questions, so I wrote that down.
So
So
you're,
like, I wrote it like a concept.
okay,
And not the standard.
so
Well,
for question
No,
one,
but that, this is a standards analysis page, it's analyzing.
Oh, yeah,
one
yeah,
we're
so
doing
has
standard.
six
different
point two,
areas.
just on this
6.2?
form. That's all we're doing.
So take
on-
this one off.
Right, so you're just focusing on 6.2, and so for number one, are you pulling all the 6.2 questions that they did well on, and putting those questions there for number one, where it says in what areas did our students do well? Like you said, like with 6.2, either it's theme or summary, right?
Mhm. So my kids did well in like the statement of the theme, I just
Okay.
picked out the one that they scored the highest on.
So what is high? What is our, mastery level? What are we accepting? Are we saying 50 and above, 60 and above? What are we saying?
Oh, well, I did, cause that 77% of my kids, the average was 77%. So I said, well, if they're making an average of 77% for this question.
See, I would take that. I would say 77%, we can move on.
Mhm.
But what if it's 49%? Are you saying no to that?
Yeah, I'm saying no to that.
Okay, so are we saying that 50 and above is mastery, or are we saying 60, or are we saying 55? What is our cutoff number?
So 50 and above.
So here they're saying that 80 to 89% would have met the standard, so anything below that,
No, I'm talking about for when you do your item analysis, for like
Mhm.
item one.
okay.
This says right here for my class, 37% got it correct. For me,
Okay,
that's a big
okay.
no.
Yeah,
But
37%, I think from 60 and above should be, you know.
So if we go 60 and above, oh gosh. All right, so then for my,
Because we can, 50 is not good.
Okay, so question.
because we gotta get that number straight. What are we saying is mastery? What are we saying is
So if 50%,
acceptable?
if 50% of the class mastered the thing, we can,
That
that's what you're
question.
saying?
I
I
wanna
think
know.
that's half of them.
Hold
What?
on. The way the item analysis is, it says section-wide percent correct.
Mhm. Overall,
Right,
uh-huh.
so 50% of your class got this question right. Half of your class is still struggling, so I think we need to go a little bit above 50% to say
Okay.
they're doing well on
Mm.
a standard, so maybe 60 and above.
60
That's
and
what I
above
was
is our
thinking,
number.
60.
Okay, so on our item, so we're all agreeing that we're gonna pull our item analysis, right?
Uh-huh.
And if we see anything that's 50 and below, that's not mastery, but 60 and above, we can
60.
deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so Michelle, I like Michelle's idea of doing it by a concept, like with number one, even though it's a RL 6.2 question, it's objective summary. So so are you writing, me, I have to
That's
write
That's what I
question
wrote,
down.
I
have to
wrote
write the question
objective
down. Okay.
okay.
So it
But
means
I
that,
still understand it.
so it means that, below 60, we're going to have to reteach the standard to those kids, right? So can we like set up lessons in iReady for them?
Or study island, so
Yeah.
that answers the bottom part about the remediation part.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But hold on, let's, cause I gotta get this first part straight. Okay, so now I'm looking at, okay, so then can I ask you a question? We should've did this before we did our thing, but anyway. So like, for question one was objective summary,
Mm-hmm.
question two was theme, cause I'm just looking at RL 6.2. Question three was central idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
Question four is development of theme.
Uh-huh.
Question five was theme again.
But support the theme.
Support theme.
Okay.
So
You
question
have an
5 is
extra
about
copy of the
support.
Okay, I should have taken mine, it's
Um,
okay. And I have
well,
copies
look-
upstairs, I didn't bring mine down.
I do have a copy that you can look at as a student, so,
Okay.
let me see if I can find hers. So what was question, 6?
How does the author use setting to convey the theme?
Setting, it's okay.
50%.
So, is question 5 about setting or is it about theme?
Well, 4 is
about
about
setting.
theme, 5 is about theme, 6 is about setting.
6 is about setting.
Yeah.
What about question?
Theme, setting.
7.
Question number 7 is this is plot question.
How does the narrow escape from
Contribute to
drowning
the lesson?
contribute to the lesson?
Well, it's a plot and theme question because it's how does a part of the plot contribute
Contributes
to
to
the
the
theme?
lesson.
Mhm.
That he learned, yeah. So how does,
You know, I had quite a few kids get that right.
Me too.
this one?
Which I couldn't understand, but showed that they did not apply this answer to the other question. They don't know that bounce back rule.
Mhm.
They don't know how to bounce back.
Read the passage from the new line. How does paragraph 30 affect the story's plot?
Number 8.
So with,
See, they didn't, my kids didn't do well with number 8, like 27.8%, and 28% of my kids got that correct. Paragraph 30.
So we said number 7 was,
And it was such an easy question.
7 was,
because the questions they weren't difficult. They weren't, I mean,
number
could have
7 was
done
plot,
better.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is plot, because it's an RO
How
6.5
does it contribute to
question.
the lesson? Yes, a plot
Yeah,
question.
that is a plot question.
Mhm.
Number 8, we said was a plot
It's
question.
definitely a plot question. It was such an easy question. How did your kids do for number 7? That was an easy question.
How did it pull up again?
Jesus.
for number 7,
Number 8.
for number 7,
The whole puncher, is it?
Coleman.
Coleman's got, okay. Yeah, Miss Evans said it was down somewhere.
okay, for number 7, 84.6% of my top class got RL 6.5. That was RL 6.5? They got that
7.
one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but, for item number 1, 50% of the class got that one.
Number 1.
And I'm wondering, because they were struggling with number 1. and I
Objective
don't-
summary.
I don't know why.
What is it about objective summary?
I don't know.
Which is an objective summary of the
Is it
selection.
the word objective is
I think
getting
that's
that?
Maybe
the
it's the
word.
word
I think it's the
objective,
word
because I was
objective.
wondering why they were struggling with that one.
You know what?
It might be just a plain old word.
Like when I think of how we teach our kids and then the choices they make, I wonder what the disconnect is. Because we've talked specifically about what would a question look like.
6 and 10.
What does a statement that is not objective look like? And like we talk about, it has words that show that you're thinking. So I said words like seems and ugly and pretty.
Mhm.
Those are opinions, and if a statement has those words, it's not objective. So how do you select Wolverine is wicked? Or how do you select it's his fault? You know what I mean? Like after we've talked, and this is 3 choices. You don't even have a 4th choice to trip you up.
Are you going to go over the test with the class?
If I can
I want
find
to
the
do-
I
time.
don't know when I can find time. I'm telling you, I am
I'm
literally
swamped for time.
scared
Yeah,
to
but you
do
know
that.
what? But the thing is, I think we need, if the ones that are getting wrong, like, I think we should like highlight it, like, before we start our lesson, like, just highlight like 1 question per day. The ones that they do
On
poorly
this test
on.
or another test?
Like on this test, because the ones that they do poorly on, to get their feedback and see what were they thinking.
Why they chose.
Yes, and
I
get
mean,
them to talk, because we need to know, you see what I'm saying? Why, and hear them. And like, we could do maybe 1 or 2 questions before we move into our lesson for that day.
Well, I mean, if we're planning to do that with a benchmark, we may as well do it with our CFA since these are so much more important. 'Cause maybe
I
this
know.
might help us, because we retested theme. Did you review the previous theme test?
I didn't get
The
to-
one
See,
with
we
the
didn't
poetry,
review.
I did,
didn't get to.
I
just
did
did
it,
the
and I'm
vocabulary.
telling you, I went through the poem, I went through the last test with them. I went back through it, and I'm telling you that the poetry and thing, and if you could hear their feedback, they were just some simple things, that it was like an eye-opening experience for some of them, so sometimes it helps.
Oh, I know it does, it's just
Sometimes
a matter
it
of
doesn't
finding the
time.
time to do it, that's my problem, cause I feel like if I take the time to review a test that they just took, and I still have 4 more learning activities to do on this
Mhm.
standard, and we're taking a test on it in 3 days, I don't.
So
go
we're
back
taking
through it.
poetry's on Friday? We're taking
That's,
this on
that was the
poetry?
plan.
Plan.
I don't think
but-
my kids are gonna be ready for that on Friday.
My kids are never ready for it when it's time to take it.
Well, the thing is, if we're going to, I think, instead of just going on, I think, you know, we could look at what our class did, like, you know, different classes will have different, and I think, I don't know, for me, I'm going to do it, I don't know. The
want
time,
to.
we're squashed for time,
We're
but-
very squashed for time. I
I'm
don't
going to
want to give
try.
them this test on Friday, and like I was telling Michelle the other day,
They're
they
not
don't
ready.
even, we teach, and then they didn't have a chance to apply it yet.
Yeah, they're not ready. So you see, because we have been doing theme, we have been looking at development theme, and these are the same words that they're still
Those are the
struggling
same
with.
words.
So we
Yeah.
need to pull these questions up, and we need to hear them. Let
And
them talk
highlight
to us
certain
and
things.
say, get feedback from them. What were you thinking when you read this question? Tell me, share with the class, and then we hear from them.
And maybe we can look at the answer choices and say, why was this wrong? Because of these
Yeah.
words, that's beneficial. I'm going to.
So I think it would be better to do, and I know it might take a little bit of time, but we can kind of do it like the old extend two test, where they would take one question and put it like at the part of the passage where it needs to be, right? Where they can find the text.
where they can
evidence.
find-
Okay,
And then the
okay.
next question will be at a part of the, you know what
That's
I'm
where they
saying?
can find it.
Instead of doing the whole text,
Mm-hmm.
could we just pull the part of the text?
Yes, that's what
for
I
that
do. When I
question?
review, because they have read the story already,
Mhm.
I don't go over the entire
Right,
story.
story.
We
Mhm.
just do like, a quick summary.
Mhm.
And then I focus on the parts where the answer is, because I don't have time to read the entire
No.
selection. So the ones that they're struggling with, when I pull that question up, then we talk about it and then we go back and say, where, but I don't have time to read the entire text.
No, so
Because
we
they
could
have
do it
read
like a task card. We could kind of do it like a task card. Each question will be a task card.
Each person could be a task card.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then they could break down that question like you said.
Yes.
And we
They
would
need
have
to analyze.
we would have maybe the text displayed, and
Yes.
then using the task card, okay, where will we find this answer
Mhm.
choice? Where will we find this text evidence? Instead of doing the whole passage, like you said,
No,
3 minutes.
yeah, I don't,
Mhm.
yes, just before I start my lesson, you know, the ones that they're struggling, the one or two, and then hear from them, get their feedback, and then you'll be surprised some of the things that they're
And
thinking when they tell
That'll probably
you.
definitely give us a clue to how to fix
Mhm.
it too.
So
That's
kind
what
of
I
like a
do.
little like a assessment prompt.
I do it before I start my class, so this is what I'm going to be doing. So, for example, like item 6 with my top group, they were struggling with that one, so I know if they get 80% or more, I don't look at
You
those
don't need
items, no,
Okay.
no.
Cause at my
No,
group,
I
they
just
made
look at the-
88.9%, that's 89% on question 2, which is
I
just a
don't
statement of the
really,
theme.
you know,
So
focus
I
on
don't,
those.
they can find a theme,
Right.
Yeah.
they don't know how to find an objective summary statement.
I think it's the wording,
It's
it's
the
the
wording.
words, yes,
So,
the words.
okay, so let me get this straight. So we're gonna do task cards for each question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Are we going to like print them out and give them to the kids and have them mark the cards? Okay.
And maybe we should have a spot where they can, they need to explain.
So
what
this
they
is
read. So
a
it's-
reteach and intervention plan?
Mhm.
Okay.
I can find the right form.
So under my notes, under my PLC notes, this is the reteaching plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is for everybody.
Mm.
For,
And this is for
It-
6.6.
it kind of makes me wanna say, for the kids who are 90 to 100%, why do they need? They
To
need.
do it again because they're not consistent.
Okay.
Yes, that's why I would do it with everyone, because I don't
Okay.
have like several of them making 90 to 100. So
Okay.
I know they're not consistent, so I would just have them go through that exercise
Everybody's
again.
going through it again.
So,
Okay.
what I did, the ones that, 'cause-
Reinforce.
yeah, just for reinforcement. but,
Okay, so this is for RL 6.2.
6.2.
So this is just for 6.2 that we're doing,
Yes.
because this is the standard that we keep on
That's
and on and on.
Mhm.
Okay.
This is the one that they, question 11.
So,
50%
I have a
of my
question to
class-
ask you ladies though. At what point do we say, you all need to master this standard, and we're not gonna keep testing this standard with everything. At what point do we finally say, this is it, right here, guys, right here, right here? When do we finally say that?
Like, we're done?
Right here, y'all, we have got to make some changes here. When
Well,
do we
We
finally?
could do it now when we're doing
To-
these task cards.
to be
'cause I
honest,
don't know.
When do we
To
say
be
it?
honest, and, okay, now you know their kids, their kids, especially in the weaker classes, then, I wouldn't say never ever,
No, but.
it's likely, it's highly likely
Where's the
that some kids are
incentive?
never going to give you
But you know what
60 or
though?
70%.
We gotta have an incentive or something.
Let me tell you, for this
Stop.
theme question, like all my kids scored high for this identifying the theme. Because I drilled into them, how do we find the theme? Conflict plus resolution.
Yeah, right.
And they
It's
get that.
constant repetition,
How do we
reinforcement.
look at the
and-
conflict, look at the resolution, look at how the conflict is
Whichever.
resolved. That's where the theme is, and I reinforce that over and over and over.
Mhm.
And I see them getting better with that kind of question. Now, as far as finding evidence to support the theme.
That's
That's
where they,
been
that's
the-
where
that's
they get
been
into
the-
trouble,
uh-huh,
yes,
that's
that's
where
the
we
one
have
that
the
they struggle
problem.
with,
Okay.
when they're to find the evidence.
So, number 2 says, which strategies helped our students to do well? I put that down, that my theme formula worked. Conflict plus resolution times what is the lesson from the resolution? That worked for me.
Our learning focused lesson plans too.
The lesson plan,
Yes.
put that for
I'm gonna tell you what, I wish I had known about learning focus 10, 15 years ago. I just wanna be able to teach those kids that I had, those, 10, 15 years ago. I just wanna get them back and reteach
And say,
them
oh,
now.
here, let
Here,
me.
here's a great way. You know what else helped? That book, that anchor chart book,
What anchor
that,
chart?
the reading strategies anchor chart book, that helped me out. You know the big thick book that, Ann got us? That helped
The one that
me.
I borrowed for theme?
Mhm.
Oh.
That book helped me. It had some good ideas in it.
We need more copies of it, cause
Yeah. That book helped me. I don't know.
Make
about
it
you.
an action step,
To
if
buy-
you need it. Mhm.
okay.
Okay.
Yep.
What's the name of the book?
It's the Reading Strategies Anchor Chart book. It just has some good ideas in there.
I see it being used in other classrooms too. Y'all must not be the only ones borrowing it.
I keep it by my desk.
It's in the library, we can
And
get,
it gets
we
some
can
good
check it out
ideas
for
from
the.
Yeah.
it to introduce theme though, like it had some pretty good questions, 'cause that's how I used that, I ready lesson and I tailored the questions so
iReady.
they could like go through and
Mhm.
differentiate between plot questions and.
That one
So
was a
each
big
teacher,
help.
each teacher
Mhm.
has a copy, each teacher?
No.
has-
No, I just have one copy.
Mhm. So that plot versus main idea anchor chart was a good one. Mm-hmm. So we got learning focused lesson plans, reading strategies, anchor chart book. The iReady lesson plans are good.
Yeah,
They are really
Yes,
good.
They're very
I read the
good.
lesson plans are
Mhm.
very, very good.
Very good teacher
Yes.
resource.
They're very good resources.
Mr. Rutland, is there any way that we can get access to the Ready Toolbox lesson plans?
You already have it.
I tried,
You
it
talking about
asks
iReady?
for,
Fifty-three.
I
it
read
asks for like a license code or something.
it.
I tried to log into the
Let's
toolbox.
look at it with you, because I was in the toolbox, a couple of weeks ago when I was at the training. And other teachers have been in it too, so, I think we've got access to the toolbox through this year. But go in and grab everything that you think is useful in there, because there's some really good stuff. There's actually full-blown lesson plans in there. not-
Yeah, that's what we're talking
Yeah.
about, but I have access
Yeah.
through a friend. And I was trying to log into ours, but it needed a code that I didn't have.
Well, give me a second, let me, try to log in on
Oh, you
mine.
know what?
Mm-hmm.
You know that, we're seeing a commonality here. The same ones that our kids are struggling with is the same one. You realize that there's a common theme, yes.
So,
It's not us.
So what
It's a
is it
common
then?
theme
What
there.
is it?
Well, how do
Concept
you
reinforcement.
what is your theme strategy? Do you have a,
My theme strategy, where's my notebook? Where is my notebook? I was using a lot of anchor charts.
Yes.
I was doing that.
Oh, come on.
When I started using the anchor charts from that book,
mm-hmm,
like the one that you and I debated on, I started using that one. Actions, outcomes, response, and character change reveals lessons was a good one.
What's the name of that?
That was a
Character
good
change
one.
and-
you got that from the book as well?
I got this from the book. And I got it too late. I think if I had gotten it at the beginning of the,
What's the other
unit,
one? What's the
I
other?
think that this is the best one to me.
Character change reveals lessons.
That was the best one.
The other, let me get the other one. so I can
See,
keep
that
it
would have
simple.
supported my little formula that I came up with.
Yes.
Sheesh.
This one is
Action,
action.
outcomes, and
Response.
response. Mm-hmm.
Because I made an
You
anchor
get
chart
to
for
that.
my kids, and it was literally 3 circles. What's the conflict? What's the resolution? How is the conflict
Response.
resolved?
Maybe
What
that's
do you learn
what
from
we
the way it
didn't
was
do.
resolved?
Maybe we should have done that on this right here. Maybe we should have had them to do a theme strategy.
It's something that they're accustomed to using,
Yeah.
so they could figure it out.
So we should have had them to do a theme, not only somebody wanted, but so then, but a
Summary,
theme
a theme
strategy.
strategy.
Yeah,
Okay,
this was
so
mine. What is the conflict? How is the conflict resolved? What do I learn from the way the conflict
Yes.
is resolved?
So we should have done a theme
Strategy.
strategy
let me see your theme strategy.
on our,
And I literally just, it popped into my head while we were going through Tracker.
Okay, theme strategy. What's the
And it was so
conflict?
like, all of my kids did well with Tracker using this. What is the conflict? John is worried about his granddad dying. How is it
How
resolved? He
is it
goes
resolved?
deer hunting and forgets about it for a while.
Mhm.
What do we learn from that? Oh, that if you're doing something fun, it can take your mind off of
Thing.
stress.
Oh,
There we
boom,
go.
there we go. There we go.
Theme. It worked.
I wanted them to do where they got their details that introduced and developed, the conflict. I wanted them to, we didn't get this very well. We didn't, you had something similar to this. I don't know why I'm a tree map so bad. But we did that. I think having them pull out the parts of plot that contribute to this and contribute to that element, and that kind of helps a little bit. But we didn't develop that. That was my fault, because I was rushing.
Yeah, we're rushing
And
too.
I was rushing. But that's what they need up here. They need somewhere to put their strategies.
Okay.
I think
So
that
that's, we
would
need to
help.
focus on that. We need to use the theme strategy.
Yeah, they need
Okay.
somewhere to put their strategies, like even for, what analyzing the structure of a poem, we came up with a strategy for that today. So they need to be able to do something like this. It's just a tree map.
Heart of a woman. So you have started your package? I'm not there yet.
It's just a tree map, but we
Okay.
broke it down by the stanzas.
And what did you take from the stanzas?
We came up with our main
The
idea,
main
restless
idea
and
from the
trapped.
stanza.
And then
yeah.
we pulled out the, lines from the poem that
That
support.
supports the
the
main
main
idea.
idea.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Cause there's our theme
Because that
right
helps
there.
them to get the theme.
Yes.
If they analyze each stanza,
Yes.
the main idea, that helps them to get the theme
Figure
at
out
the
the
end,
theme.
yes.
Cause we could have done it in the
But I like that
boxes,
anchor chart.
but we just did that,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna tell you what, we need to give them room to do that on their blank piece of paper.
Yeah.
We need to put up there, use one of your, analyzing the structure of a poem strategies
Tree map for,
to develop the theme or to determine the theme. We need that on their next test. Yep. Oh, Lord, that thing is still on. I thought it had cut off by
you know what? I think after we get, if we get a 50% and we reteach it, and the kids are still, and the weak ones are still not
there.
getting
We
it,
need to
I
pull
don't
them in
think,
a small group.
yeah.
We don't need to.
We're
That's what
gonna
I
have
mean
to
by
move
when do
on.
we stop with the whole group.
Like, we're done teaching this
Uh-huh.
now, you need to
Yeah,
either
we
get
need
it
to
or
get
get
it,
your life together.
We
And
need-
set up their
Yeah.
lessons, just keep setting up lessons for them. Every lesson that you set up, like on Study Island, make sure that there's an item in there for, there's something with that standard in it so they can keep practicing.
So when are y'all talking about doing this, the task cards for this CFA?
I'd say as soon as possible, only because we are also teaching theme with the poem, so it makes sense.
Yeah. Cause actually we're still on theme.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that
I
means,
just
I
think
got
I don't have enough days in the week.
So that means, okay, so we're gonna take each of these, run it off. Are we going to, and then, so each of these is gonna be its own task card?
Yes. Do you guys use like the NAV test thing that they project?
No. What is that?
That is what I use when I'm going through that, and I highlight it, and it's clear as crystal.
Or you can also download the student copy and it gives you a PDF,
Okay,
That's
yes,
how
you
you're
can
able
do
to
that
print
too,
it.
yeah.
but you project the test now.
Uh-huh, and we work from that.
Okay.
And I think they're anxious to see what they do too, I think they like it. When I went through the first CFA with them, and, some of them really want to do well.
I don't have a
Because,
chance to do it.
This little boy submitted his test early and his scores were bad and he started crying. And I said, you see, you have to make sure that you're ready and slow down and do what you have to do.
Okay. So that's the idea, so, okay. So what are we gonna, is it just gonna be just the question and maybe some room for some notes at the bottom, or is it just the question? Are we doing just the question on the little task card?
Should I ignore the phone since we're in PLC?
Maybe they're calling for me because I'm supposed to have a conference today,
Oh.
Okay.
so I don't know.
Yes, she is.
I know it's me.
Okay.
Oh, Lord. Parents is here?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Lord. I got to go.
Okay, ma'am.
So, I'm not going to, guys, you'll share with me so I can get the minutes, right?
Okay,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
Ms. Davis, I'm going to log out of here.
I feel a little better, now I know what I need to put up here. How do you feel, Miss,
Yes, 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 yes. Call it whatever you want to call me, it's fine with me.
Okay, so our intervention plan is the task cards. What is our extension and support plan?
Okay.
Study Island?
I was thinking that. Okay, so this is the task card.
Okay. So, they're in Mr. Ray's room? Okay. Guys, I'm going.
Okay.
I'm going. Ms. Davis, I'm just gonna do that
No,
Would you
can-
use Study Island group session?
now.
Or, yeah,
Mhm.
since this is not something that they will probably, they'll be able to manage independently, so group sessions. Like, even that, I don't get enough time, maybe I'm not managing my
I
time.
think I might not be either, maybe I need to reassess.
I definitely need to, because, you know, another thing I was gonna say, can we go into SchoolNet and take some of those passages and write our own questions? So that when we're looking for test items, we have things.
We can.
Cause it's so hard, like, I wanted to give a different 6.5 test and I couldn't find questions.
You have the time to do it? That's the only problem, is the time. Reinforcement plan, what does that mean? How do we reinforce?
I guess for people who have met the standard, how do we, I feel like they could do Study Island independently,
What other things are there?
or maybe stations.
I would love to do stations. It would be just for them, or what?
See, because if I'm thinking of my group that only needs reinforcement, that's not the majority of the class.
Mm-mm.
So, are they going to just be at a station by themselves, working on several different exercises, practicing over and over and over, finding the theme and the task?
Could a school net be a reinforcement, or what? Could that be considered like another school net? Could that be a reinforcement?
So, like online or printed so they can annotate and all of that?
I think I want to do them printed, so I want to see, when they say reinforcement, these are the children who got it,
You just want to like
want them to keep it.
solidify, you want to keep it. Child.
So,
Or maybe have them write, maybe have them develop themes, write their own pieces and develop the theme and then support, so maybe write and then use their own pieces to assess them. So you need to be able to write, you could probably give them a theme like say bullying, and now you need to develop the theme of how to stand up to a bully in a story. And then you need to be able to analyze your own story and show how you supported the development of the theme. Bring out your statement of the theme. Is that reinforcement?
Can I just say thanks? You all do this better than anybody else in this building.
Oh, we are serious, but thank you.
No,
We take this very seriously.
I was asked to record one of our PLCs to take with me to the principal meeting on Friday.
do you want to
No. But all I need is about 15 minutes anyway.
Okay.
But you guys do this better than anybody in the school, and nobody had to tell you what to do. I mean, you were doing it before we said this is what you gotta do in PLCs. I mean, really, you guys do this so incredibly well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really, it's me who's thanking y'all, because you guys set the bar for what this should really look like. It's not wasted time.
No, it's
But,
not.
you know, really, help me help others get to where you guys are, because it is so incredibly important what you guys sit and do in this meeting. I mean, you guys have the data talks, you're looking at what your kids need, and nobody had to tell you to do it. I mean, you just did. And that's what's supposed to be happening.
Thank you. Yeah.
Somebody needed to stop and thank y'all. I mean, y'all do this incredibly well. After school, I've got to run up to a parent conference right this second. I did record part of your meeting. I walked in to and recorded 11 minutes of your meeting. And I walked in and I was like, dang, this is exactly what we're looking for. I mean, this is right here. This is the meat of it, right now. You didn't have to see the beginning, you didn't have to see the end. This is just it. But I appreciate you guys doing this. You just send it to me this afternoon and I'll load it up into the Google file. I mean, this is the model group right here. No doubt about it. Seventh grade math is doing a pretty good job too, gotta say. They're doing a pretty good job. I think seventh grade ELA is doing a pretty good job too. So, I mean, we've got some other pockets of goodness too, but you
Okay.
guys have got this refined down. I mean, this is it. I mean, if you got a model what PLC looks like, it's happening in this room. But you know it. I mean, they're not perfect every time. They don't have to be. Y'all taking care of the work of what needs to be done. So, thanks.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
This afternoon, right after the goal team meeting, we'll take a look at the iReady. We'll see if we can log
Okay.
in and get your
Yeah.
stuff. If we can't figure it out, I'll find somebody who can figure it out for us. Shannon will be here with me on Friday morning, Shannon Wainwright. I
Okay.
know she can help us get in. If we can't get into it this afternoon, she can help us get into it Friday morning.
Okay.
That be okay?
Excuse me.
Oh, hit the button.